Music that once floated softly across the ceremony grounds came to a sudden stop. Conversations fell silent mid-sentence, every head turned at once, in that single moment. What was supposed to be Janelle Brown's happiest day transformed into one of the most shocking scenes Sister Wives fans had ever seen. Standing just a few steps away was Kody Brown. He was not smiling. He didn't look proud. Instead, he appeared tense, pale, and visibly shaken. This was not the confident patriarch viewers were used to seeing on TLC. This was a man watching his control slip away in real time. Janelle stood at the altar, dressed simply yet beautifully, her posture calm and her face steady. There were no tears, no panic, no hesitation. Instead, there was something much stronger in her expression, peace, and that peace frightened Kody. For years, Janelle had been the dependable one, the logical one, the wife who didn't ask for much, didn't create drama, and didn't push back. She was the woman who kept the family afloat financially, emotionally, and practically while expecting almost nothing in return. But that version of Janelle was gone. The woman standing there now was someone new, someone free. As cameras rolled and guests whispered in disbelief, it became painfully clear this wedding wasn't just about love, it was about liberation. To understand why this moment affected everyone so deeply, you need to know one thing about Kody Brown. He never thought Janelle would really leave. Over the years, fans watched Kody dismiss Janelle's concerns, downplay her feelings, and assume her loyalty was guaranteed. She was easygoing, she was logical. She didn't require constant attention, at least that's what Kody told himself. But what Kody failed to realize was that quiet women don't lack depth. They lack patience for disrespect. When Christine left, Kody was angry. When Mary faded into the background, Kody was indifferent. But when Janelle decided to leave, that hit his ego harder than anything else ever had. Janelle wasn't emotional, she wasn't impulsive. She didn't storm out, she chose herself calmly, making it impossible to dismiss her decision as drama. Still, deep down, Kody believed this wedding was a bluff, a phase, a statement meant to hurt him. Until now. As Janelle prepared to speak her vows, a stillness filled the air. The kind of silence that comes right before something unforgettable happens. Guests leaned forward. Cameras zoomed in. Janelle took a breath, not a nervous one, but a grounding one. The breath of someone who has already survived the hardest years of her life. She began slowly. Her voice was steady. And with every word, something inside Kody visibly unraveled. Because these weren't typical wedding vows packed with fairy tale promises or romantic cues. These words mattered. They carried history. They carried truth. Janelle spoke about partnership, mutual respect, choosing a life where love doesn't require silence or self-erasure. Without naming names, she described years of feeling unheard, years of prioritizing family over herself, years of downplaying her needs so others could feel powerful. Each sentence landed like a quiet confession, and each one reflected something Kody had spent years denying. This wasn't revenge. This was clarity. Kody shifted uncomfortably, his jaw tightened, his eyes darted around as if searching for someone to support him, to stop what was happening. But no one moved because everyone felt it. These vows weren't attacking him. They were telling the truth. Then it happened. Kody stood, chairs scraped, a few guests gasped. That's when he said it. Stop the wedding. It wasn't loud, but it didn't need to be. The authority he once relied on had vanished, replaced by desperation. He spoke about family, loyalty, promises made long ago. He insisted this wasn't right, that Janelle was making a mistake, that this wasn't how their story was supposed to end. But what viewers saw wasn't concern. It was panic. Because for the first time, Kody wasn't the one choosing how the story unfolded. And here's where everything truly shifted. Janelle didn't argue, she didn't raise her voice, she didn't explain herself. She simply looked at him, calm, grounded, unmoved. That look said everything words never could. It said, I've already survived without you. I don't need your permission anymore. This chapter is over. That calm response hit harder than any confrontation. Kody expected tears. He expected anger. He expected chaos. What he got was closure. This interruption wasn't sudden. It resulted from years of emotional imbalance. Years where Janelle prioritized stability over passion. Years where compromise became sacrifice. Years where being low maintenance turned into being overlooked. Kody thrived on being needed. But Janelle didn't need him anymore. And that realization broke something inside him. Fans watching at home would later describe this moment as one of the most powerful scenes in Sister Wives history. Not because of shouting, not because of scandal, but because of quiet strength. Janelle's refusal to get pulled back into emotional chaos spoke louder than any dramatic exit ever could. Why this moment mattered. This wasn't just a wedding disruption. It was a symbolic ending. An ending to years of emotional neglect disguised as stability. An ending to a system where one voice mattered more than others. An ending to Janelle being the woman who held everything together, while slowly falling apart herself. And in that moment, as Kody stood powerless and Janelle remained unshaken, one truth became undeniable: this wedding wasn't breaking the family. It was showing what had already been broken for years. The calm one, the rational one, the wife who didn't cry on camera or need constant reassurance. While chaos surrounded the Brown family, Janelle quietly held things together. She worked outside the home, paid the bills, and supported Kody's vision of plural marriage even when it demanded more from her than it gave back. Because she didn't complain loudly. Her pain went unnoticed, but silence doesn't mean satisfaction. And strength doesn't mean the absence of hurt. Behind Janelle's composed exterior was a woman slowly realizing that the life she was defending no longer defended her. From the beginning, Janelle had a specific role in the family. She was the provider, the planner, the logical thinker. Kody often praised her for being easygoing, but that really meant Janelle was expected to adjust while others were allowed to make demands. Her emotional needs were seen as optional. Her opinions were consulted but rarely followed. Her sacrifices were expected but seldom acknowledged. Without realizing it, Janelle started to shrink herself to maintain peace. Janelle didn't process pain the way others did. She didn't cry, she didn't scream, she didn't beg, she reasoned. She told herself that plural marriage required compromise, that emotional fulfillment wasn't guaranteed, and that stability mattered more than romance. But over time, logic stopped being a coping tool and became a shield protecting her from admitting a painful truth. She was lonely in a crowded family, Robyn's rival, and the shift in power. When Robyn came into the family, everything changed. Not suddenly, but unmistakably. Kody's energy shifted, his time shifted, his priorities shifted, while other wives reacted emotionally. Janelle observed quietly. She noticed how decisions began focusing on Robyn's comfort, how Kody's presence became selective, how fairness slowly disappeared and favoritism took its place. At first, Janelle didn't blame Robyn, she blamed the system, but eventually, she had to face the truth: the system was unbalanced. And Kody wasn't interested in fixing it. There wasn't one dramatic fight that changed everything. There was one ordinary moment, a conversation where Janelle tried to express concern. A decision made without her input, a dismissal disguised as reassurance. That's when it hit her. She wasn't being disagreed with, she was being ignored. Being ignored hurts more than being opposed because it tells you your presence doesn't matter. Janelle could have fought, she could have demanded equality, she could have issued ultimatums. She could have cried on camera and forced the issue. But that wasn't her way. Instead, Janelle did something more dangerous to a controlling dynamic. She withdrew emotionally. She stopped explaining herself. She stopped chasing validation. She stopped expecting change. When a woman stops asking for something, it's often because she's already decided she won't get it. One of Janelle's deepest wounds wasn't emotional, it was practical. She had contributed financially for years. She had invested in the family's future. She had trusted that shared sacrifice meant shared security. But when decisions were made that left her unstable, uncertain, and unheard, Janelle realized something painful: loyalty didn't protect her, responsibility didn't guarantee respect. And sacrifice didn't equal safety. That realization shook her foundation. Because Janelle had always believed that being dependable would ensure fairness. It didn't. Janelle's awakening didn't come with anger. It came with clarity. She began asking herself quiet questions. What do I actually want? Who am I when I'm not holding everyone else together? Why am I loyal to a structure that no longer supports me? Once those questions surfaced, they couldn't be silenced. Why Kody never saw it coming. Kody mistook Janelle's calm for compliance. He believed her loyalty was permanent because it wasn't loud, didn't demand, and didn't threaten. But he failed to understand this. Quiet women leave silently but permanently. By the time Janelle stopped trying to fix things, she had already grieved the marriage. She had already detached. She had already moved on emotionally. Janelle didn't announce her departure dramatically. She didn't stage a confrontation. She simply chose distance. And distance gave her something she hadn't felt in years: peace. That peace grew louder than obligation, louder than loyalty, and louder than fear. Once peace enters the picture, returning to chaos becomes impossible. As Janelle stepped away, something shifted inside her. She rediscovered parts of herself that had been muted. She reclaimed her voice, not loudly, but firmly. She recognized her worth not through validation but through self-respect. This wasn't rebellion. This was self-preservation. It's about the invisible emotional labor women perform every day, and how dangerous it is when that labor is taken for granted. Janelle's story resonates because it reflects so many silent struggles: being dependable instead of cherished, being logical instead of emotionally supported, Being strong instead of being protected. When those roles become permanent, something has to give. The morning of Janelle Brown's wedding arrived quietly. There was no chaos. No tense phone calls. No competing emotions pulling her in different directions. Instead, there was calm. It was the kind of calm that follows a long emotional storm. Janelle woke up knowing this day wasn't about proving anything to Kody, the family, or anyone else. It was about honoring a choice she had made long before the ceremony began. That certainty showed in every step she took. This wedding was nothing like the ones viewers had seen before on Sister Wives. There was no hierarchy. No power struggle. No unspoken tension hanging in the air. Every detail was intentional. The guest list was small not because Janelle wanted secrecy, but because she wanted peace. She chose people who had supported her quietly, without judgment. During the years she felt unseen. There were no grand speeches about obedience or sacrifice. This ceremony was about choice, and that was revolutionary. As Janelle walked toward the altar, something felt different. Her posture was relaxed. Her smile was real. Her eyes were clear. This wasn't the Janelle who used to compromise first. This wasn't the Janelle who stayed silent to avoid conflict. This was a woman fully present in her own life. When the cameras captured her face, fans could see it clearly. She wasn't nervous, she was ready. When it was time for the vows, the room settled into deep silence. Janelle held the paper in her hands, but she didn't rush. She paused, not because she was unsure, but because she wanted every word to land exactly where it belonged. She looked up, took a breath, and began. From the first sentence, it was clear these vows were different. They weren't filled with fantasy or empty promises, they were truthful. Janelle spoke about partnership, real partnership. About choosing a life where voices are heard, where respect isn't conditional, and where love doesn't require silence. She talked about what it means to stand beside someone, not behind them. Without naming the past directly, she made it clear what she was leaving behind. As Janelle continued, her voice remained steady, but the weight of her words grew heavier with every sentence. She spoke about choosing herself when she was asked to disappear, about refusing to shrink so others could feel powerful. About building a future where stability doesn't come at the cost of dignity. These weren't accusations. They were revelations, and the room could feel it. As Janelle spoke, the camera slowly shifted, and there he was, Kody Brown. His expression told a story he never intended to share. His jaw clenched, his eyes narrowed, his body stiffened. This wasn't sadness. It was recognition. With every vow Janelle spoke, Kody realized something devastating. She wasn't rewriting her future. What made Janelle's vows unbearable for Kody wasn't criticism. It was clarity. She wasn't emotional. She wasn't angry. She wasn't blaming. She was done. And there is nothing more threatening to a controlling dynamic than a woman who no longer needs validation. These vows didn't paint Kody as a villain. They simply revealed that he was no longer relevant to her happiness. No one interrupted. No one gasped, but everyone felt it. Guests shifted in their seats. Some lowered their eyes, others stared straight ahead, understanding they were witnessing something rare. This wasn't drama for entertainment. This was closure, unfolding in real time. Then Janelle said it. A single sentence that changed the atmosphere completely. She vowed to never again stay in a place where love required her silence. That was it. That was the line, because that sentence didn't just describe the future. It described the past, and Kody knew it. In that moment, something inside Kody snapped, not because Janelle was marrying someone else, but because she was doing it without bitterness. There was no fight to win. No argument to dominate. No emotion to manipulate. He wasn't being rejected loudly, he was being released quietly. For someone who thrived on being central, that was unbearable. As Janelle continued reading her vows, Kody shifted in his chair. He looked around, searching for support, but there was none, because this moment belonged to Janelle. And everyone knew it. That's when Kody stood up. Not out of love, but out of fear. Fear that once these vows were finished, there would be no path back to control. Before Janelle could finish, Kody tried to stop the ceremony. His voice wasn't commanding. It was desperate. He spoke about history, about family, about promises that once mattered, but his words felt hollow. While he talked about the past, Janelle was already living in the future. What happened next stunned everyone. Janelle didn't respond immediately. She didn't argue. She didn't raise her voice. She simply looked at him. And in that look was everything: acceptance, finality, freedom. That silence spoke louder than any argument ever could. After a brief pause, Janelle continued. She finished her vows. By doing so, she reclaimed something that had been taken from her slowly over time: her voice, her choice, her life. This session isn't just about a wedding. It's about what happens when truth is spoken calmly after years of silence. It's about the moment emotional labor turns into self-respect. It's about choosing peace even when others try to disrupt. It's Janelle's vows didn't attack, they liberated, as Janelle folded her paper and looked ahead. One thing was clear, no matter what happened next. No matter how loud Kody became, no matter how uncomfortable the truth made others feel, this wedding was already complete because Janelle had already chosen herself. Okay, here's the revised text. The second Kody Brown got up, everything shifted. Not because he started talking, not because he wanted everyone's eyes on him, but because no one rushed to his side. For ages, Kody was used to running the show. What he said decided everything. How he reacted set the mood. When he was mad, everyone walked on eggshells. When he felt threatened, everyone jumped. But this time, nothing. The room stayed quiet, and that quiet showed the truth Kody had been avoiding. He didn't call the shots anymore. Kody started talking a mile a minute, all worked up, trying to justify himself. He talked about how important family was, about all the stuff they'd been through together, about all the sacrifices he'd made for the family. But it felt weird because this wasn't just some family get dashed together. It was a wedding. And the cameras caught something Kody really didn't want people to see. A guy falling apart, not cause he lost love, but cause he wasn't in charge anymore. His voice broke, but not because he was sad, but because he was annoyed. He was stiff as a board. Jerky movements. This wasn't sadness. It was a freak out. What really got to Kody wasn't Janelle marrying someone else. It was how she did it. She didn't yell. She didn't point fingers. She didn't cry. She just stood there, calm, peaceful, steady. And that calmness took away all the ways Kody used to get back on top. There was no drama to deal with. No tears to use against her. No fight to win. Janelle wasn't even reacting. She was done with it all. Kody tried everything he could think of. He brought up the past. We've been through so much. He laid on the guilt. This isn't just about you. He tried to make her feel bad. You're breaking up the family. But none of it worked. Guilt only works if people still care about how you feel. And Janelle was over it. She'd been carrying that weight for years. When Janelle finally spoke, she was quiet but firm. She didn't explain herself. She didn't try to make excuses. She didn't defend her actions. She just said, "You don't get to stop me from being happy anymore. That's it. Nothing else. No argument. No drama." And that one sentence hit harder than any fight could because it said a line Kody couldn't cross. For years, Kody thought he was the only way happiness could get into the family. He was the one who said okay. He was the one who gave approval. He was the one who gave permission. Janelle's words smashed that idea. It told him, clearly, calmly, for good, that he wasn't in charge of her life anymore. And for a guy who thought he was worth something because he had the power, that was a big loss. This was the moment fans had been waiting for without even knowing it. Not a screaming match. Not someone storming off, but the truth coming out. Kody wasn't being attacked, he was being ignored. And that showed something he didn't know. How to be in a room where he wasn't the most important person. As Kody kept talking, his words got all jumbled. He was saying one thing, then another. He jumped all over the place. He blamed outside stuff, bad influences, different values, betrayal. But none of that was the real reason. The reason was simple. Janelle didn't need him anymore. And when someone doesn't need you, you can't control them. The guests could feel it. It wasn't just awkward, it was eye-opening. Some looked uncomfortable. Some looked like they felt sorry for him. Others looked relieved. Because a lot of them had seen Janelle quietly deal with a lot of crap for years. This wasn't a surprise to them. It was about time. Kody wasn't dealing with loss. He didn't want things to change. He wanted the old days back, where he was uncomfortable mattered more than everyone else. Being at peace. But those days were over. Janelle's wedding wasn't ending it was just making it clear that it was already gone. The real turning point wasn't Kody's outburst. It was what happened next. The wedding kept going. No one took Janelle away. No one stopped to comfort Kody. No one asked him if it was okay. Life went on without him, and that's when it really hit him. Kody wasn't left behind. He was outgrown. Janelle didn't leave because she hated him. She left because she got better and he didn't. And watching that happen was something Kody was never ready for. This wasn't just about them. It showed what happens when you think being in charge is the same as being a leader. When you try to control people instead of connecting with them. When you expect people to be loyal but you don't respect them back. Kody didn't lose his family in one day. He lost them little by little. Every time he chose power over being a partner. After he ran out of things to say, it got quiet again. Not uncomfortably quiet, but final. Kody sat back down, not because he accepted it, but because there was nothing else he could do. The story had moved on without him as the wedding kept going. One thing was obvious. Kody Brown didn't lose Janelle at the wedding. He lost her a long time ago when he stopped listening, stopped sharing the power, and stopped caring more about peace than being in control. And now, standing on the outside of a life he used to run, he had to face something awful. The ceremony wrapped up without any big cheering. It wasn't needed. What just happened was more than something to celebrate, it was a relief. Janelle Brown stood there smiling. Not cause everything was perfect, but because, for the first time in ages, she felt free. The mess was behind her, the pressure was off. That quiet version of herself was gone. Now, she's a woman who picks peace, no excuses. As Janelle left the altar, cameras followed. Each step was important, not cause she was ditching Kody, but cause she was heading toward herself. This wasn't some crazy escape. It wasn't about getting even. It wasn't about proving a point. It felt right. For years, Janelle's life didn't match what she wanted, doing what she had to replaced what she liked. Staying steady meant feeling unsafe. Now, things fit. You could see it in how she stood, how she looked, and how chill she was. Janelle's freedom wasn't loud. It was steady. She laughed easy. She breathed deep. She talked clear. She didn't rush to explain or justify her happiness. She wasn't stuck on the drama she'd outgrown. This wasn't a woman running. This was a woman arriving. Viewers at home got it right away. Janelle's story wasn't just about plural marriage. It was about something everyone knows: being the strong one for too long. Lots of viewers saw themselves in her, the woman who keeps things going, the one who always gives in first, the one whose quiet is seen as happiness. Janelle didn't blow up. She stuck it out, and when she couldn't take it anymore, she picked herself instead of falling apart. Janelle didn't leave mad. She left knowing what she wanted. There's a big difference. Mad people leave making noise, hoping people listen. People who've grown leave quiet, cause they know the truth. Janelle didn't need Kody to say it was okay. She made her own peace. Janelle began her new life. Kody stayed put. Not cause she left him, but cause he didn't want to change. He was stuck thinking he's in control. He thought loyalty should just be a given instead of earned. And that controlling folks was better than being partners. Seeing Janelle happy without him made him face a tough truth. She didn't need him. She never did. Janelle leaving changed the whole Sister Wives story. People saw how bad things can get when feelings aren't balanced. It showed how stuff stays together. Not cause it's good, but cause people put up with it, and when they stop putting up with it, the truth comes out. Janelle didn't break the family. She showed what was already broken. Janelle's ending was strong cause she held back. She didn't punish. She didn't try to humiliate. She didn't need viewers to pat her on the back. She picked peace. And peace is a threat to anyone who gets something out of causing trouble. The message Janelle sent without saying it. Janelle didn't give some big speech. She didn't need to. Her actions said it all. You can move on from places you tried hard to survive. It's okay to want to feel safe. You don't owe anything to something that wants you to stay quiet. And biggest of all, being strong doesn't mean staying forever. Years from now, fans won't remember all the fights. They'll remember this moment, not cause it was wild, but cause it was real. Janelle Brown showed that getting free isn't always a big show. Sometimes it's just knowing what you want, and that's way more powerful. Janelle's new life wasn't about finding someone new. It was about what being partners really means. Respect. Making decisions together, feeling safe. She didn't go looking for love. She got herself ready for it. That's what made the difference. Janelle's wedding vows didn't hurt Kody. They broke the idea that he still ran her life. They showed that loyalty isn't about giving up on yourself. They showed the quiet strength of a woman who stayed until staying meant hurting herself, and then picked a different path. As the camera stopped rolling, Janelle didn't look back. She didn't have to. Her past wasn't her future. Her quiet didn't have to protect others by hurting her. Her future was finally hers. If Janelle's story hits home, remember, you don't need anyone's okay to choose peace. You don't need permission to guard your heart, and leaving what hurts you isn't failing, it's growing.